Good afternoon, everyone. This is Rob from Next Truck Sales, and I want to take this opportunity to introduce you to our 2018 Cascadia. It features a DD15 at 400 horsepower and a DT12 automatic transmission. Now, a lot of people I've had conversations with about 400 horsepower. Is it enough to pull the load? And the answer is yes. In most cases, it's going to haul easily up to 80,000 pounds anywhere in North America. For some of you that are watching this video who are older, will remember that going back 30 years ago, 400 horsepower was actually a high number. A lot of trucks ran up and down the road with 300, 350 horsepower, and 400 was considered big power. Nowadays, obviously, we have 500, 600, even 700 horsepower in some engines. But with the price of fuel today at $5 a gallon, it really doesn't make sense to be making more horsepower than you need to. And ideally, if you build a truck correctly, you're going to build it with enough horsepower to do the job and nothing more. Because it's not a race, it's not a, you're not driving a Corvette, it's not a personal vehicle where you're trying to get there as fast as you can. You're trying to get there safely, but at the same time you want to use as little fuel as possible. Now this particular truck, I'll go through the spec with you. It's actually a Downspeed engine. It's geared very fast, meaning that the RPMs will be very low at higher speeds. And that's also to reduce rotational, we'll call it rotational friction that is generated in the engine when it's running at a higher speed. And so by slowing down the engine, they claim that for every 50 RPM that you reduce the engine speed, you're saving about, I think it's 0.5%, which doesn't sound like a lot. 0.5% of fuel is consumed less, so meaning that you're going to save a little bit here, a little bit there, and obviously turning down the horsepower is going to increase that. So the point of this truck being at 400 horsepower is to give you the best possible fuel economy, still be able to get the job done, and obviously being a 15 liter, it has plenty of torque, and it's going to generate all this power at a lower RPM, so you're not revving up that engine, consuming fuel. So let's go through the truck and look at some of the features that it's got, and then I'll show you the specs as well and explain that to you. So if you have a look here, you're going to see we've got 10 new tires on it. We've got 2 brand new Firestone steers up front. We've got 8 Chinese virgin tires at the back. So let's pop up the hood and I'll just show you underneath. This is your DD15 engine. You can see that we've sandblasted and painted the frame so everything is shiny and new looking. There's no corrosion anywhere. We got brand new 11R 22.5 16 ply steering tires. All of the trucks go through the same reconditioning process. When we drop it off at the shop, we're going to fix any body damage if there is any. We're going to sandblast and paint the frame. We're polishing the wheels. If you look here, you're going to see that we polished the wheels. You'll also see this particular model has disc brakes all the way around. We're going to make sure that there's no leaks, there's no check engine lights, the air is cold, the heater's warm, and that's kind of our standing operating procedures when we give it to the mechanic in the body shop. They know our standard, and that generally applies to all the vehicles that we sell. In this case here, you'll see we have another brand new steering tire, and having a look here at the engine, you'll see there's no leaks. If there was, we would have fixed them. Okay. The one thing I love on this new Cascadia compared to the old is the front hinge. If anybody who had an older Cascadia, the 17 and older, you'll remember that hinge was famous for seizing up, and the grill was famous for coming loose, and it would wear literally right through the hood. And this problem is completely solved with that simple hinge up front there. And I love these straps. Just a simple nylon strap that holds it in place, as opposed to some of the other trucks that have cables that have a tendency to fray and snap. This is just a much better design as far as ease of maintenance and not having to get into changing cables and repairing hood hinges. Having a look over here, you'll see that we've got four batteries underneath here. Again, similar setup to remove the fairing as the older style Cascadia. Okay, we've got our DEF fuel tank is here. We've got quadruple, or actually triple access doors. So if you look on this side, you've got your standard luggage door or bunk access, but then we've got this nice door, which is an option. You're not going to find it on every truck. If you look at that one, it has nothing. But if you look on this one, it's got a door. So here we've got a nice securely mounted power inverter and first aid kit along with a fire extinguisher and triangles. But we've also got this second door here, which gives you access to throw stuff into the back. And that's a brand new Freightliner mattress that came out of the bag. Although it's not in plastic, it is a brand new mattress. And you'll see here, this has the Arctic insulation package. So you'll see this additional foam throughout the cab. You'll find it underneath. You'll see the aluminum foil. If we can get at it, no, it's a little tricky to see, but underneath here you'll see aluminum foil, which is like a Thinsulate type of an insulation. It's foil backed on foam to give you better insulation for the cab, which is going to, obviously make the heating and air conditioning system work a lot less hard when you're in really hot temperatures or cold temperatures. Over here you're going to see 150 gallon fuel tank on this side. There's a 150 gallon fuel tank on the other side, so 300 gallons of fuel total. You've got a simple narrow step to go up to the catwalk at the back of the cab. You've got airline hangers up here, and if you look here, and I do like this feature where the skirts are not painted. So there's, it gives you a two-tone appearance, and if you look at that, take it or leave it, but ultimately it's less maintenance, because where you're going to pick up your stone chips and you're going to get body damage. And there's rarely do you find a truck that's not been in the inside of a body shop that's had something kick up and scratch these skirts. And they are quite low to the ground, really, relatively speaking, if you compare it to, say, a pickup truck that's at least 1.5 feet off the ground. These things are, to get best fuel economy, they're 6-8 inches off the ground. If you damage one of these, it's as simple as going to the Freightliner dealer and picking one up and sticking it on, because they'll come unpainted. If you have one like this, obviously you're going to need to send it to the body shop. So from a simplicity standpoint, this is going to be cheaper and easier to replace if you need to do that, and it doesn't look bad. The white and gray two-tone looks decent to me. Over on the back here, you're going to see the aerodynamic deflectors on the rear wheels. That's going to give you, again, slightly better fuel economy. We've got 10 aluminum wheels, so you'll see you've got aluminums back there. You got all brand new drive tires. You're going to see disc brakes back here, so that's going to give you better stopping power. And so 6-position disc brakes. We've got your standard 40,000 pound axle, single frame, standard Freightliner 40,000 pound air suspension. And if you look here, we've got a Holland 3500 fixed fifth wheel. This fifth wheel does not slide intentionally, and that's because 98% of the people don't move their fifth wheel pin. A lot of people think you need it, and most people don't move it. Unless you're carrying different types of freight continuously, you never need to move it, and half the time it ends up being seized into place. In this case, you're simply saving weight. So without that extra weight of the chassis, if you look over at that one there, you're going to see you've got an extra 100 pounds worth of metal on this truck that you don't necessarily need. So when you remove all that and you just stick it on there, you've got your fifth wheel, less maintenance and less weight. And no, you don't have the option to move the fifth wheel, but most people, like I said, don't end up moving it anyway. Over here you'll see the downdraft exhaust, as we call it, the duck bill. So that's where your tailpipe is. Another 150 gallon fuel tank. We've got a load bar holder there. Okay, and over here we've got a window, which is an option. If you look at that truck there, it does not have a window. And we've got the bunk access door. So again, over here, so we've got triple access, which is great because on the other side, you've got the option to throw gear in and without having to lug it through the driver's seat or through this side of the cab, trying to crawl up with anything that might be bulky going in that way. I do notice a small crack in the skirt here. It is secure. Okay, it's not going anywhere. It's held securely to that bracket. Okay, but it's a small crack. And again, this is a used truck, so it's not going to be perfect, but it is coming with no leaks, no lights. So no warning lights, no ABS lights, no check engine lights, etc. Cold air, warm heater, and you're also going to come with a fresh service and a fresh DOT. Now, I want to get into this here with you. And if you look, this is my point. So 400 horsepower, 1750 torque. So that's a high torque motor. And you'll see here, it's 228. So this thing is geared to the moon. However, it's a direct drive transmission. So there's no overdrive on this, meaning that when you're in 12th gear, when you're in top gear, it's not, the drive shaft is spinning the same speed as the output shaft of the transmission, which gives you, again, better fuel economy. So you can read up on direct drive versus overdrive. There's kind of two schools of thought. You can argue it either way, but the long story short, if you're going to be doing interstate type driving where you're not doing a ton of hills, this would be the absolute perfect truck, because you've got stuff set up for high speed driving, the wind deflectors, you've got a transmission that's geared very fast, and a rear axle ratio, you've got rear axles that are geared very fast, and you've got an engine that's turned down that's going to give you the best fuel economy possible. So this is really not a heavy haul. This is good to 80,000 pounds, and if that's the type of load that you're going to be hauling, under 80,000 combined weight, this is something that you should be considering if you want to save money on fuel. Inside of here, you'll see we've got heated mirrors, power locks, and power windows. Over on this side, the seat has been replaced at one point. That would have been the original seat that came with the truck, and it's been changed out to a cloth, which I would say is in excellent overall condition. We've got multi-way adjustments. We've got a kill switch for the power. And let's come inside here and have a look at what we've got. Okay, I'll start it up. 621,000 miles. Let it go through its little thing. Okay, so we've got inside of here, we've got water temp, air pressure. That's a twin gauge. There's two gauges on there. We've got fuel and def. That's a twin gauge. Good oil pressure. Let's have a look here. So it's going to idle for 3 minutes maximum, unless we take it and put it up on cruise. 60 pounds pressure at idle. That's excellent. Climate controls are here. Diff lock is there. Suspension dump. Okay, and then we've got some auxiliary controls, footwell, lots of lights. The one thing I do like about these new Cascadias, they have way better lighting. No question about it. Let's have a look inside of here. Over at this seat here, this is plastic leather or pleather. It's not real leather. It looks great, but they don't last very long, and it gets all chewed up, which is why it was probably changed out to cloth, which is more durable. You've got sufficient cup holders. Over here, you've got overhead secure storage. You've got a compartment. We've got inside of here, this is insulated. It's hard to tell, but it's double thick with fabric in between. So that's when you close this off, you're gonna have tons of heat coming out of the bunk heater, which I'll get to in just a minute. You've got CB, you've got some more secure storage with a little bit of a lip here and another lip in there. What do we got, a bonus pen or something? Oh, it's bonus paper. We got some extra paper left over from the manuals and whatnot. We've got more storage here, more storage there. Actually, I'm gonna pan out just a bit to give you a better look. Okay, that's gonna come down and obviously allow you to climb up. Here we've got a nice spot where we can throw stuff, and I do like the lip so stuff doesn't end up on the floor. You've got a bigger fridge, which is good. Let's hope they work better than the old Freightliners. We've got a nice tray that you can write on or put stuff in. Inside of here, we've got another secure storage with a coat hanger up top, which is excellent. And then we've got some spots for paperwork. We've got more drawers here. We've got a pull-out drawer here. So there's definitely plenty of storage. We've got carpet in the back, vinyl up front where your dirty boots are going to be. So that's a nice combo. You can take your shoes off, take your socks off if you want to, and stand on carpet. Over inside of here, we've got this access door, which we can go get at through here. It's not an exit for people. I'm just going to snap the accelerator, take the idle shutdown, give it another 3 minutes. So if you have a look here, you're going to see we've got your heating and air conditioning controls. You've got your dome lights. We also have your Webasto air top heater. This is going to give you heat in the sleeper when the truck is turned off, and you don't need to run the engine to give yourself heat. If we open it up here, I'll get you a good look. I'm just going to put the phone down for one moment. And if you look here, so your heater is inside of that cage. We've got good storage there, good storage here, the heater, the inverter. Okay, so that's plenty of space down below, and I'll give you a good overview here. Okay, I'm going to go back to normal zoom, and I'm going to step out and I'm going to have a look at the engine and let you have a good listen to it running. The other thing I do like about the new Cascadia, you've got a one-piece windshield. The old Cascadias had a two-piece, which was okay. Unfortunately, they haven't necessarily fixed the problem that I believe exists with the water leaks. They're still the same, but you're down to a one-piece windshield, so it's one less problem that you have to worry about, which is water leaks at the center seal. That sometimes you would have you'd have issues with water leaks there. So let's go and have a listen. I'm going to shut the truck off so I can talk. I don't want to overtalk the engine. The reason why I took that oil filler cap off, if you look at a truck that has a worn out engine, you're going to see a lot of smoke or vapor coming from that oil filler cap when the engine is running. A truck that is in decent condition should have minimal or zero vapor or smoke or fumes coming out of that area when that is off. That's an indication that the piston rings are allowing blow by to get past, and it's going to pressurize the crankcase, and it's going to come out of that hole when you take that off. So that's important. This one's in good shape. It was a fleet maintained truck, so very comfortable with the reason why the truck has come available to sell, and it's not because it had an impending failure. It boils down to it was time to get a new one, and there was 4 of them actually changed out at the same time. And obviously, you know, with the mileage being 600, it's higher than what most fleets were changing stuff at, but because of COVID, you know, trucks couldn't be produced in the time frame that a lot of people wanted to get their trucks, so they had to run them another 6 months or a year before they could get the replacement, meaning that the trucks coming out of service are going to have more than ideal mileage. So 600 miles is kind of like the new 500 miles as far as availability and pricing, because ultimately that's what is actually out there. So look in here, this is our 18. If you have questions, you feel free to give me a call. I can certainly explain the process of picking up this truck from my yard. We deliver it to Buffalo. If you are watching this video and you happen to be in the US, because I'm in Canada, I'm about 2 hours from Buffalo, and we will deliver it to our yard in Buffalo, where you can go and pick it up after we're paid in full. So we supply you with the paperwork to convert the title from Canada to US, and we will also supply you with a 10-day temporary license plate, so you can drive it home with a proper license plate from Buffalo to your home. If you're interested, we can ship it to your home from our dealership for extra charge. And we also supply you with all of the paperwork. Like I said, usually comes a couple of days after the truck crosses through the border in order to convert the title from Canada to US. We also offer financing, and we also offer extended warranties. So if you have any questions, you feel free to give me a call. My number is area code 289-259-6054, and it's Rob at Next Truck Sales. I hope to hear from you soon. Bye for now.